Congressman, always great to see you here on Capitol Hill.
You bet. Good to be with you again.
Busy time, never not busy. We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
There is no off position on your switch, is there?
Well, it's always something to do. We were supposed to be doing a markup today, marking up this crazy sanctuary jurisdiction issue that's out there, where left-wing political leaders tell their local law enforcement not to work with federal law enforcement. Literally one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. But with this weather and different things, we moved that markup to next week. But still a busy day.
State of the Union tonight.
Yeah.
What do you expect to hear tonight? I hear it's going to be a long one. President Trump's already promised it's going to be a long one.
I always say we make this job too complicated. It's pretty simple. What'd you tell the voters you were going to do when you ran for it, when you put your name on the ballot? If you win, go do what you said. No one does that better than President Trump. So I think he'll talk about all the good things that have been accomplished. He said he cut taxes, he did. Said he'd secure the border, he did. Said he'd bring down crime, he did. Said he'd get military recruitment up, and it's off the charts. Said he would get men out of women's sport. No, he'll rattle off all that list of good things that have happened. And then I think the other thing you got to do is tell them what we're going to do. There's still a few things that need to be worked on the price of housing, the price of health care. And then finally, I think he'll, which I think is really important, I think he'll remind the country how crazy the left is.
Yeah.
Every policy the left has is just that crazy, and you can go down that whole list too. So I think he'll do those three things. Tell them what we've done, tell them what we need to do, remind them that the left's crazy.
Do you have any civil discourse left with Democrats on that side at all? Is there any left here in this building?
Yeah, there is. But, I always say not all Democrats are crazy, but the left that controls their party is.
Yeah.
And the left has all the energy in the party. You've seen all these challenges. They got primary after primary where someone on the radical left is challenging a somewhat less radical Democrat who may be in.
Like in Texas, your colleague Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah.
How do you think that's going to shake out?
I don't know. We're going to know in a week. There's a lot of races down there that are important.
But that's kind of the identity issue for the Democrats right now, whether they're going to go, as you say, sort of a Beto left or a Jasmine Crockett left. And there is still a difference, maybe not much, but at least in presentation.
Yeah, no, there's, and right now it seems to me the hard left's winning. Some of their policies, think about the Democrat Party now, their policy is to be anti-Israel, which makes no sense, which is, I think, frightening, which is scary. Israel's our best friend. It's like, what are you talking about? So we'll see how it shakes out, but I still get along with Democrats. I try to be cordial and talk with them, but we go at it in committee, we go at it on the House floor.
I know you hear when you go home and talk to constituents, and I asked the audience just this week, I said, what do you want to hear the president say? What do you want to see from the Republicans in Congress? In no particular order, the top three always happen to be housing/affordability. And then, and this is where you come in, and I've asked you this before when we were here, prosecutions. Yeah. People are hungry to see those who violated the law punished, and it's a patience game. And so I'll ask you a question I asked you last time. Should folks listening to us right now still feel very confident in this Department of Justice and Pam Bondi in your view?
I think so, yes. I think Pam's done a good job. I think Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, the new guy they've hired to combat fraud, this Colin McDonald I met with 2 weeks ago, I think he's a sharp young lawyer, going to do a great job in this fraud issue and focusing on all the billions that have been ripped off from taxpayers. So I do. It is frustrating, though, because we've done so much oversight, and I always remind people, in the legislative branch, we can't indict or prosecute anyone. All we can do is get the facts. And then we can look at, legislative solutions, potentially, and we've done that. And we can look at the power of the purse using that. But indictments have to come from the Justice Department. Now, we have also done referrals. Like, we referred John Brennan to the Justice Department for prosecution. We'll see what they decide to do. But we know John Brennan lied to us under oath last Congress when we were deposing him. So we do all we can do.
Just as a layman, can you talk to me about the process there? So you say you feel very confident John Brennan lied, so he must be indicted. That's a DOJ thing. Can you walk us through, just help us understand why that may take time?
Well, we're citing 18 U.S.C. 1001. You can't, when you're under oath and testify in front of Congress, you can't lie. It's clear John Brennan did, based on what Tulsi Gabbard released last summer from a declassified report from the House Intelligence Committee. There's actually questions about the dossier. John Brennan said he wasn't involved, and of course we have the declassified report that says he was. So that's what we referred him to the Justice Department for. It's up to them whether they move forward with the prosecution or not. We think it's clear. We laid out all those facts in our referral letter to Attorney General Bondi. So we'll see, but it's in the end, it's the Justice Department's call.
Because here's what's frustrating, and I know people know this. James Comey was the perfect example. It depends on the venue where it happens. A judge then tosses it, and no matter what Pam Bondi or the Justice Department is lined up to do, there may be an activist judge that usurps her, right? And so they have to be very buttoned up, almost so ironclad that no judge can find fault.
Yeah, it's got to be tight, particularly as you said when you're in certain jurisdictions. With Comey and with Letitia James in the Eastern District of Virginia, it didn't move forward.
Does everything that happens prosecutorially, in terms of Brennan and others, does it all have to happen in D.C.?
It probably would with Brennan. Some of the, if you go back to what Jack Smith was doing, some of those were brought in the Southern District of Florida because of the raid on the home in Mar-a-Lago and in that whole classified document. So the venue depends on where there's got to be a nexus to what actually you're alleging took place. Yes. But with Brennan, it would probably be here in D.C. because he lied to Congress here in D.C.
The fraud that's been uncovered in Minneapolis, stunning. Yeah. Tip of the iceberg? Plenty more, you think?
I think there is more. What happened up there was just old-fashioned. I take this program, Feeding Our Future. They were supposed to be helping kids during COVID get meals. Only problem was there were no meals and no kids. They were just stuffing the money in their pockets. And it looks like the political leaders and the elected leaders in Minnesota were not only just kind of letting it happen, they were almost assisting in it for political reasons, because most of I think there's like 80 some people who've been indicted, and like 90% of that number are from the Somali community, and there was political concerns. So yeah, this is pretty big, and we're looking into this one as well.
I know you got to run, so I'll ask you quickly. As we head toward the fall, and it's just a fait accompli. People assume the party in power loses. Do you think that's the storyline? It has to be that way, and what will change that dynamic if that's the trajectory right now?
President Trump's totally changed politics in the last decade. And I think him getting out and helping turn out Trump voters. Remember, Susie Wiles said President Trump's going to campaign like he's on the ticket, like he's at the top of the ticket. So I think that happens. And I think it's critical to remind the voters, as I said before, every position the left takes is crazy. Crazy to defund the police, crazy to say you want to abolish ICE, crazy not to have a border like we had under Biden, crazy to say men should compete against women in sports, crazy to say I don't know, you can just name it. Crazy to sanctuary city policy, to not work with federal law. Like, you just go down the list and remind voters, if you put Democrats back in charge, those are the policies they're going to be pushing.
Biggest thing you think could come out of Congress before you're done, before this fall? Anything in particular you think might be meaty, weighty, hefty that could...
Well, I'm hoping the SAVE Act, there's another one crazy. I'm hoping we get the SAVE Act through and/or the sanctuary city bill that we're working on our committee.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me about SAVE Act. So, Congressman, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it, sir.